Okay, so today is December 14, Sunday. Um, it's 10:47 a.m. Eastern Time. I made a live video. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but the streaming is still pending. I guess they got some new rules or something. So I'm just gonna make a quick video, explain what's going on. Pretty much went to Arkansas to get my CDL license. As you can see, I had some couple of videos up with the trucking school. So I have a lot of video. So pretty much I did 3 weeks, 3 weeks of training at this school. So I pretty much videoed almost every day, not every day, but almost every day. So I'm going to condense it down to explain like the pros and the cons of the school, things that you should do and shouldn't do, how to get your CDL um, within 3 weeks. You go through the process of getting your permit, which I already put up videos for that. So if you want to get your permit, I put up a couple of videos showing which programs I used, and how do you go about getting your permit and your endorsements. Now this one I'm going to explain the process and which school I picked, because there are a lot of schools out there that you can go to. The one that I picked was specific because of the time. Um, some schools want you to, you know, give them a whole year. Some of them want you to give days, a certain amount of, I mean miles. So there's schools who do it by the um, months or years. Some do it on based on time. The others do it based on mileage. So you have two different type of schools you can pick, um, that are out there right now that they will pay, reimburse you for your tuition. And what I mean by reimbursing, um, you go to the school, they pay for it, and then you have to work for them for a specific amount of time or a specific amount of miles. Okay, so there are two types of um, ways to cover the tuition for the CDL driving courses you're going to take. You need to um, have a truck when you go to the motor vehicles to take the test. The motor vehicle does not supply a truck for you to drive to take the test. You also need to know exactly what's on the test at the motor vehicles as to what you're supposed to do. Um, there's ways of passing it and there's ways of failing it. Very simply, in every state, it's kind of different, but they have the basic layout is the same. Some states are more lenient, some states are more rough. I live in New York, so the states in New York, they don't let you slide so easily because of the mass amounts of people that they get. So I understand that. So I'm going to be explaining the process of how I went about getting my CDL license, my A. I'm not talking about B or any other license. I'm talking about the CDL A license for driving a combination vehicle, a tractor trailer. Also, I have my P and S, which is passenger and school bus, and the triple, double and triple, which is double and triple tractor trailers. I can drive. Um, just got to get someone to train me for that, and pretty much I'm on the road. So I do have the endorsements for that. Also, I tried to get the hazmat and tanker, but that's more. You have to go through another process. They added a couple of layers, a couple of extra layers of process you have to go through before you even take the test, the written test. There's a difference now between the written test and just taking the written test and then going to actually doing hazard or tanker. So um, you have to go through a specific training through the federal government. You have to get fingerprinted. There's a whole process you have to go through. Uh, uh, double. There's a deeper criminal background check, and they have a no tolerance on drugs and alcohol for the federal, um, the hazmat and tankers now require a more deeper background check. So whichever company you work for, you have them pay for it. They pay for it. You go when you do what you gotta do. That's the way you get your hazmat and your that I feel that's the way I'm gonna get mine. So I'm gonna let the companies pay for it. They want me to drive hazmat, let them pay for it. Um, right now, I got my CDL license, my A. I passed the test. Received it on the 11th of December. So I got my CDL A license. I am now officially a commercial driver license, tractor trailer driver. So I have the license to drive a truck now. I will explain the process I went through. It was a 2 month process. Um, 2 months of studying and then going to the school, taking the course in the school, applying myself 100% to the process to get it, not playing around, you know, dedicated to just getting my license. A lot of people play games and do shenanigans, and then they wind up getting thrown out. Several students in the school that I went to got thrown out. Uh, for whatever reason, I would say you just wasting your time. Don't waste your time doing that. Just if you're gonna do it, get it over with, and move on. If you're not gonna dedicate yourself, then why bother? I feel a lot of kids, a lot of students that went pretty much wasted their time because 2 days before you go to the DMV to take the test, they got terminated by the school, which is silly. You're getting terminated 2 days before you go take the test to get your driver's license. There's one guy who got terminated the very morning before we went. He was supposed to go with us. There was three of us. It was supposed to be four of us to go to take the test on Thursday morning. Uh, this Thursday that passed was the 11th, and between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, he got himself terminated from the school. So it's like within a half an hour, he blew 3 weeks and $50 because you have to pay $50 to give to the DMV. When you go over there, you pay $50 for the test, a test kit from the DMV. That $50 is gone. Plus, he owes the school money now for the training. So it's like between 6:30 in the morning a.m. Central Time and 7 o'clock a.m., that half an hour before going on the truck to go to the DMV, he got himself terminated, which was totally insane. Everybody was like, "What happened?" You know, like what happened to this guy that between 6:30 and 7 o'clock the same day he's supposed to go, he was on the list to go to take the DMV training to take the test. They were waiting for him over there. You know, they give your name at the DMV, and the DMV has the paper, and your name is on the list. He was before me, like his name was before my name. I was the last guy on the list, and between 6:30 and 7 o'clock, this is I'm repeating it because it's that incredible that between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning, on the last day, on the day you're supposed to take the test to get your driver's license at the DMV, this person got himself terminated, meaning they threw him out. And within that half an hour before going to the DMV, at 7 o'clock, we all jumped in the truck and we went to the DMV. He was that close. That's how close he was to get his driver's license, his commercial driver's license. Because he did something, he got terminated. I mean, that is insane. 3 weeks, you spend 3 weeks, training, standing in the rain, in the cold. It was dusty. The wind would blow. A lot of dust would fly around. Waking up every day at 6, 4, 5 in the morning to get ready to be on the truck on the bus by 6 o'clock in the morning. You had to be downstairs by 6:15 to get on the bus to go to school. For 3 weeks. So you did that for 3 weeks. You studied for 3 weeks. You went through all that crap for 3 weeks. You traveled all the way to Arkansas. You left your family. You went over there for 3 weeks. You got on the bus and you suffered the whole bus trip and the whole thing of traveling. I mean, it's insane that within that half an hour, he threw it all away for stupidity. I'm going to repeat that, for stupidity, because the person thought he's running the show. One of the things that you have to understand, the school is separate from the company. The school is the school. They training you. The company is waiting to hire you, right? The company is linked to the school only by the students who pass. For the students who make it through the school training, and the school says, yeah, they're good. The student is a good guy. He's polite and well mannered. The whole, it's like an interview. So while you're in the school for the 3 weeks, they're checking you out. They're kind of feeling you out, see your attitude, how you act under pressure, see how you get along with people. All of that is part of the school atmosphere. And you do go through some shit. You go through some stuff, get you upset, stuff like that, and it's part of the training. So it's like a giant interview. So the school is not linked. It's not part of the company, but the company takes the students right out of that school. They want the best of the best, right? They want to take the students who are good and they pass the course. And when they hire you, they offer you to pay for the school. Because if not, you have to pay for it. If the company didn't hire me, I would have to pay for that school and go somewhere else. I can go somewhere else. I can go to another company and say, hey, do you reimburse? Do you pay a tuition reimbursement? And they would say, yeah. And then how much is it? You tell them how much it is, and they'll pay for it. Depends how much they pay, how long you have to work for them to pay it. It's a whole thing. The company that was picking right out of the school, that's kind of linked to the school, who actually is sponsoring the school. Like, hey, we're sponsoring those students so that we can hire them, the good ones. The ones that pass, we want them. So we're going to offer to pay for the school. We're going to pay for their hotel. We're going to pay for the food. We're going to pay for everything that they need, their transportation back and forth to the school. They're willing to pay for it. Okay, all of that is money. You know, they gave me an airplane ticket, was pretty much $500. Okay, to get back to New York. It was $484 ticket just to fly me back from Arkansas. Okay, that's a big chunk of change for them to give a student that they might, and they might not hire me, or I might be a dud. So if I'm a dud, they wasting their money. So they invest in students who are good. They paid 300 and I think it was $17 or $319 to put me on a bus to go over there. That was my choice. I told them I don't fly, but just put me on a bus, and they put me on a bus. It was about $318 to get me over there on a bus, which was 39 hours. It was torture on a level I never experienced, and which I would never do it again. And then they paid 500, almost $500 to bring me back home. So that's a total of $900 that they spent on me going back and forth. Okay, that's $900 that they spend without ever getting that back. They're not gonna get that money back. They're investing in you. They're saying if he's willing to do it, we'll pay for it. So they were willing to pay. They paid almost $900 for traveling fee. That's just traveling from New York to the school and back. So that's $900 on top of that. They also paid for the hotel, which was 3 weeks, 21 days. The hotel room was about $310 per day. Okay? Every day, the hotel was $300. It was a very nice. The reason why my hotel room was 300 was because it was a double occupancy room. It had 2 beds. Problem is, I was the only person in it. They didn't put a roommate. I didn't have a roommate. They decided, let's just leave him by himself. I guess it's because I'm an older guy, or because I requested, hey, I would like to be by myself, if it's okay. They said, you have to pay the other half. If you pay half, another student that I know um, requested to be alone, and he paid like 1,000 something dollars just to have his own room. It was a one bed. There was only one bed in the room, and he paid almost like $1,300. He had to pay the other half. It was like $250. They charged him like only $50 more a day. So on the week, it was a smaller room. My room was a double room, right? It was for 2 people. So the room was double the price that he paid. So it wasn't, $50 a day. It was, $100 if you wanted to live. It's a $311 room. Okay, so every day the company paid $311 for the room for me to stay in it for 3 weeks. Okay, do the math. That's a lot of money for 3 weeks. And they did not put me with anybody. I was by myself for the whole 3 weeks. They could have put me in a regular room with one bed, but they didn't, because I just said, "Hey, I'm not gonna pay." You know, I didn't want to pay to be by myself. I just requested it. Hey, can I be by myself? And I think the the guy who recruited me said, "Hey, put him by himself," because they wanted, they want you. If they feel, hey, this guy's gonna be good, he got good qualifications. He's not he's not a threat. He doesn't have any drug charges. He doesn't have any criminal background. They look at your background. They say, this guy is going to be a good driver, or this person we want in our company. They're willing to put up the money. So it's $311 per day. That's how much the Holiday Inn is. It's $311 for double occupancy. There's two beds, two big giant beds in the room, and I only slept in one. I didn't sleep in the other one. I only need one bed, so I only slept in one bed. It was a pretty big room. I stood there. They didn't charge me anything. They pretty much left me alone. I finished the course. They paid for it. They paid for the continental breakfast. What else they paid for? Oh, they also gave us $100 a week cash. Okay. There's a lot of confusion out there that they say this company gives you a Walmart gift card. That's a bunch of bull. That's bullshit. They give you cash. Sign a little paper. They give you $100 cash, and you just sign that you got to get. So you get $100 every week on Friday uh, for you to eat. I guess. I mean, they were giving me $100 a week. I was putting it in my pocket because I had money already. I had took $200 with me because I just had a little extra money. I had $200. I said, okay, let me have a little $200, uh, for food or whatever. And then they gave me $100 on Friday. The first Friday they gave me 100. The second time they gave me $100 was Wednesday because Thanksgiving. I was there the Thanksgiving week, so they gave it to us on Wednesday. I had $200, $100 bill, cash, no tax. They give you $100, and you go and you spend whatever you want. You buy whatever you want. And then the last week they gave me another $100, so it's a total of $300 they give you for every week. So every week you get $100. This is all coming from the company. This is besides the school. Okay, this is all the money they paying before the school. So the school money they still haven't paid the school yet. This is all the money they already invested in you before even paying the school off. But right now, they owe $7,500 for the school. That's what I owe. And they're willing to pay for it now if I work for them for 6 months. So they're telling me, Ray, you know, if you work with us just for 6 months and you haul freight for us, we're gonna pay for your school. And we're gonna pay you to work. Uh, I mean, you can't get a better deal than that. It's only 6 months, so I just have to work for them for 6 months. I'm going to go through this process to show you the ins, the pros, and the cons of the school, of the program. As far as the trucking part, going on the road and all that, I know that's going to be rough. It's always rough when you're learning a new skill. But I learned how to drive the truck. I'm dedicated to do it. I'm going to give them their 6 months. I'm going to give them my best. They gave me their best. They paid for the school. They paid for the training. They were upfront with me. So I'm going to be upfront with them and give them 6 months. dedicated. I'm gonna dedicate myself to them and give them back payment for their confidence in me and trust in me. Because they believe in you, so they giving you this. They giving you this. A lot of people say, "Oh, they just gonna cheat you later. They don't pay you that much." That's besides the point. You're a rookie. When you're starting off as a truck driver, you don't make money. Nobody makes a lot of money when you're starting. So all that other crap about you don't make no money and all that, you don't even have no experience yet. So I don't know what people are talking about. You're starting out, you're a new jack, you're a rookie, and you're gonna learn how to drive a truck. They're not gonna pay you top dollar. Nobody's gonna pay you top dollar when you're a rookie. You don't even know how to back up into a dock yet, and you're gonna start talking about making money. You'd be lucky anybody takes you. So this company is willing to support you, pay for all this stuff up front, which money they're not gonna get back, and then pay for your school. This is a payment that you don't have to pay. You have to pay this every month. It's a payment that they make. And if you work for them for 6 months, you don't have to worry about it anymore. It takes longer than 6 months to pay for it. Okay? It takes longer than 6 months to pay for the school. So that means once you do your 6 months, you leave, you are free of debt. They continually pay for it after you left already. If you decide to leave the company, they still have to pay for the school, and they still going to be making payments because there's a certain amount of money that they pay every month, which is going to take several a year and a half to pay for it. I mean, at the rate that they're paying it, like $125, it's going to take forever to pay for that damn thing. So it's good that they are paying for it. So once you pass your 6 months of working for them, you don't have to pay anything. You're debt free. That's the contract. So the contract says work for them for 6 months. After 6 months, you don't have to pay anything. They have to pay the rest. And then when you leave, if you do leave to go to somewhere else, because now you got 6 months experience, which you can gain now you're an experienced truck driver. You have 6 months experience. You go somewhere else, they still have to pay for the school. They still gonna be paying for the school once you leave. After 6 months, you can go. And they're gonna stay stuck with the bill. So I mean, what more do you want? God bless America. That there's a company that's actually willing to do that. And they only do it for 6 months. There's other companies that are doing it for a year. One of them is a year and a half. And like I said, the other one does it by miles. They want 120,000 miles, blah, blah, blah. There's like clauses in there. It's only loaded miles. It's not empty miles. You got an empty trailer, it doesn't count. Bobtailing doesn't count. Time off doesn't count. There's a whole list of things that don't count as miles. The only time you get the 120,000 miles that is counted is when you're hauling something. You have to have something in the back to actually count as miles towards your 120,000 miles, which a lot of guys felt was a scam because they just didn't read the contract, the bottom, the fine print. You can't complain about something after you sign it if you didn't read it. If you don't read it and then you sign it, don't complain later. That's what it's called, the contract. You need to read the contract before you sign it. 120,000 miles sounds like a little bit, but a lot of the guys who are doing it, who are complaining, it's taking them 2 years to do it. So now you're stuck for 2 years with a company, and you're trying to, get these hundred, these 120,000 miles. So it's kind of messed up. that happens. So I feel like, let me just plug up my computer. It's running on the battery, and she's going down. So there are certain tricks to this thing that I learned. I did study a whole bunch of different companies. I looked into different students who went to different schools, and I went back like 1 year. So I studied people on the internet for a 1 year distance only. You can't take advice from people 6 years ago. It's too far back. The company could have changed. Things could have become different. So you go 1 year back, right? Since you're going to be with a company for 6 months, you figure, okay, I'm going to go one back 1 year. So you look at videos that people have worked for this company 1 year ago. That's the furthest you go back. And then you study those people. You see what they have to say. Why did they get fired? A lot of them leave. And then you figure out which company is good, which company is bad. And then you find out why they left and the funny reasons and the complaints that they make. And you balance that with your decision as to should I go here or should I go there. Now, the school that I went to, yeah, I'm going to say they were fair. It was well balanced. They don't talk a lot of, there's not a lot of talking. You're never in the class. You're never sitting in the class. The only time we sat in the class was between the first day between 7 and 11:30. After lunch, 11:30 is lunchtime. At 12:30, you was in a truck the first day. That was the good thing about it. That right away you're in a truck. The only way you're gonna learn is being in a truck and driving the truck. Right? That's the only way you're gonna learn how to drive a truck. A lot of talking and a lot of paper and a lot of reading, that's not gonna help you drive a truck. The only thing that's gonna help you learn how to do a truck is actually driving it, being in the truck, feeling the truck, seeing how the brakes work, feeling the truck wobble around on the field, driving it forward, driving it backwards, driving it forward, driving it backwards, back and forth, doing the same thing every day. That's the only way you're going to learn. Sitting in the class and reading papers and doing computer simulations, that's not going to help. Sorry. I feel that's all a bunch of waste of time. The only way you're going to learn is being in the truck. And this company, you're in the truck the first day. Okay, that's that's the good thing about this company. The first day, the school is the first day you go there. You're kind of like scared. And they take you outside. They show you the school. You think it's gonna be a lot of blah blah blah. They give you a pre-trip paper, which is like five sheets of paper, and that's it. That's all they give you. There's nothing else to read. That's the only thing they tell you. This is your Bible. This is what you need to study. This is what you need to learn. Now get in the truck. And you're like, what? Your first day, you're like, what? They give you the keys. Here, get in the truck. Drive. And you're like, oh my God, I'm driving a truck now. You just got there. You haven't even learned, where's the horn? This is the horn. How do you blow the horn? They just put you in the truck. They tell you this is how to drive. Boom, boom, boom. Put it in. It's automatic. You drive and you drive the truck and with a trailer. They make you go forward and then they make you go backwards. So, you're backing up and you're driving forward. You're learning how to press the brakes. They tell you how to put it in the box. So the first day, the first day. So all that, anticipation of driving a truck and you want to drive, this is the school to go to. Because the first day, you're going to be in the truck. All right. So they don't play games there. Other schools, they do a lot of talking and they put you on a computer simulation and and you wait a whole week. So it's a whole week of wasted time talking and you know a lot of jibby jabby, which I feel is junk. A lot of talking is garbage compared to actually driving the truck. There's only one way you're gonna learn. That's driving it. You could talk about theory and you could talk about how big it is, and how many feet, and blah, 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 blah. Make you sick talking. You get sick of people talking about it. You already went through your permit. You studied for the permit. You studied and you did the paper and you went through all of the permit stuff already. Now it's time to get in the truck. So this school, I recommend it 100%. They don't play games. I have my CDL license now, and I got it in 3 weeks. It took a month because going over there, I went the month of Thanksgiving, and I missed one day. So instead of 15 days, I did it in 14 days because Thanksgiving, there was no school. So we had one day less than everybody else. Like my class, we got gypped one day because instead of being 15 days, we got 14 days because on Thanksgiving, there was no school. You stood in the hotel. So we got one day less. So I kind of felt, hey, we got gypped. But after the third week, on the third week, you're there. I already had it on lock. I already wanted to take the test. I told the instructor, I'm ready. I'm ready to take this test now. They were like, well, one more week, because what they're doing is on that last week, I'm just going to let you, they did a drug test. They drug test everybody. They feel everybody out. I'm going to be going through more on what's going on. I'm going to be showing some of the videos that I took. This is pretty much a little introduction into what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be showing the actual videos of me at the school after I come from class and I'm expressing myself. I'll be editing. It's going to be a lot of video. There's going to be a lot of information so that you can see, the what I went through um, while I was training, and the stuff that I complained about, and how that I feel I was going. As time went on, things change. Certain people rub you the wrong way. All the stuff that you go through, which I feel is a good experience. So if you want to get your CDL, check out these videos I'm going to be making. That I'm going to be compiling. I'm going to probably put one video. I'll try to put like three 3 days in one video, or I'll probably make two videos for 1 week. So it'll be 1 week and it'll be two videos. So it'll be like 2.5 days, 2.5 days. I'll shrink them into smaller videos so that way you get the gist of it and what's going on and how you go about it. And then you can actually decide for yourself if you want to go to the school. I recommend it because you do get your driver. I mean, if you're dedicated, you will get it. They are rough. They don't play games. That's one thing I like. No shenanigans. They don't play around there. You play around and you with your phone and all that bullshit, they throw you out. Okay? There's certain things I'm going to talk about that a lot of people got thrown out for playing with their phones. If they tell you don't play with your phone, don't play with your phone, especially if you're in the truck. People thought they were bullshitting and people thought that they weren't going to do it. They did it. A lot of people got thrown out for playing with their phone while they were in the truck or sleeping in the truck while they taking the class. For shenanigans. Some people got caught with, drugs and they got thrown out. So they thought that was it, no more drug tests. They do take a drug test. They don't take hair sample. So those of you who are worried about hair, They don't do this in this school. It's pretty much the urine test, and don't try that synthetic urine because they're gonna find out. I know a couple of guys who try to play around that, and pretty much they got caught. The machine knows what's what. Their machine over there is totally different from the one that you're gonna go over there with. So just clean yourself up. You know, if you're gonna go, just clean up your urine, make sure your urine is good, and don't smoke. Once you get your CDL, you shouldn't be smoking because eventually you get caught and you're gonna get your CDL taken away. So that's your life. That'll be real stupid to do. I'm just letting you people know that they don't take hair. Uh, they don't test your hair follicles. It's pretty much a urine test. The first time you go there, it's urine test, and then before you go to the DMV, again they do another urine test. I'm not gonna say when. Watch the videos, and you'll find out how that happens, and watch what happens to people. So this is going to be a little introduction to what's going to happen. I'm trying to like give it all in one uh, little introduction to what I'm going to share throughout these videos. I have a lot of video to share with so that you can see the development and the complaints that I'm doing. I have some stuff that I talk about during the videos that I feel are valuable for people who are going to go there. You're going to see the way my attitude changes towards certain things, um, which is good because that's why I recorded it so that you can actually see. Okay, this is what I'm going to go through. It's going to be pretty much like that. I have video of some shots on the field. I put one up already of all the lanes they have. They have like 13 different trucks on the field. So there's 13, trucks that, they put a certain amount of students in each truck. Like they try to put three in each truck. So that's like 30 something students. They spread us out so that every student can constantly, one student gets in the truck, he goes forward and back, and then the other student gets in. Once he finishes, the other student gets in and does the same movement, and then the other student. So it's constant rotation of the student driving the truck all day. That's all you do all day is drive the truck. Okay? There's no sitting in the class, there's none of that stuff. Okay? It's pretty much all day you're in the field driving the trucks. We do the 45-degree angle, backing the truck up into a dock, 45 degrees. I nail that one. You do the parallel parking, you do the stop box. There's a lot of stuff you're gonna learn, and you learn it quickly. Um, so this is what I'm gonna be talking about and showing you like the different situations you go through. Sometimes you rub up against people, the problems you have, and how they get rid of people who can't do it. When they feel that you are not gonna make it, they just get rid of you. There's no time. They don't play around. That's all I'm gonna say. They don't play around. My class was I'm gonna tell you how many people were in my class. There was 8, there's 12, there was like 16 people in my class. When we graduated, the only ones that graduated were 6 out of 15 people, 16 people, only 6. 10 disappeared. 16 people. There was 4 blues, so you got to figure 16, 6 graduated, and 4 blues. I think 2 of the blues. What I mean by blues are people who already have their CDL. They're only supposed to be there for 1 week, so they graduated, and 2 of them didn't. So even people who already got their CDL didn't qualify for the job. Even though you got a CDL, they give you a blue vest, and you're only supposed to be 1 week. They test you out, see if you're able to drive the way they want you to drive. If you're not able to drive the way they want you to drive, you're gone. They don't want you. You got to pay for the school. The school is one thing, the company is another. That's what I'm trying to say. There is a difference between you being in the school and being hired by the company, the trucking company. You could go to that school and go to a different company. You don't have to go with the same company. You could take your tuition and have another school pay for it. That's if you pass. If you don't pass, uh, they're gonna give you a failing grade. They'll say you suck. They're gonna tell the other company, yeah, he sucks. That's why we didn't hire him, even though you got your CDL license. That's a lot of people go there with the CDL license already, with no experience. So they go there for the training to get hired by that company. If you suck and you don't pass the course, they're not gonna hire you. So you're gonna wind up owing the money for the training. Now the school is gonna say, you suck. You're terrible. They're gonna put that grade on your, when they another company calls them, say, hey, how is this driver? They say he sucks. They're not gonna hire you. If that company didn't hire you, another company is not gonna hire you. Okay? Because you suck. You suck at driving. I mean, if you can't pass the course there, you're not gonna pass it somewhere else. Sorry. That's just the way it is. Uh, so out of 16 students, um, it would be me. I'm just gonna count. Uh, Joseph. So it's me, Aaron, Joseph. T passed. Um, there's a guy who failed, but he's still there. So eventually he's gonna pass because he just made a boo boo. I'll explain that later. So you figure five. So the only people that I know that actually were in the class and passed are five out of 16 people. One, two, I know three different people got thrown out. Three people got thrown out. Four people got thrown out. One was for drugs. One was for the one I talked about got thrown out uh, a half an hour just before taking the test. One got thrown out, a female, for not being able to drive. Like she just didn't learn. She just couldn't learn how to drive, and they told her, "Look, just you're not a trucker. You can't drive." They just told her, you're not a. This is not for you. It's not for everybody. So they told her, "Look, go home." And they just got rid of her 2 days before she took the test. It was like 2 days before you take the test. She made this. I'll explain it later. But and the other person, I forgot what it was. I think also it was for drugs. So you had two for drugs. One because he was an idiot for thinking he knows everything and pretty much a big mouth. And then one was a female who just she couldn't do the job. She couldn't drive. So those are four people who just got bounced from the class. And five of us that I know, uh, well, four I know passed, and I know one guy who's still there now. He's still there now. He's gonna pass. I know he's gonna pass. He just made a boo boo. He got out the truck. There's certain things you can't do when you're in the DMV. When you're at the DMV test site, you can't do certain things that you do there. And he made a mistake by getting out the truck. And that just automatic failed. He failed just for getting out the truck. It kind of sounds weird, but that's just the way it is. And you have to listen. But part of the DMV training is listening and following the rules. You know, it's not only just driving the truck. You actually got to listen and follow the rules. So they tell you don't get out the truck. You don't get out the truck. You wait until the DMV examiner says, "Okay, get out the truck." You have to wait. There's reasons for that. I don't know what they are, but it sounds silly, like they would get rid of you just because you got out the truck, but that's their rules. That's the DMV rules. If you don't follow the DMV rules, you fail. You know, thank God they gave him they give you a second chance. So he has a second chance to do it because he was able to drive. He's a good driver. So I know he could do it. I told him, and I wished him luck. I said, wish, because he took the test before me, and I wished him luck. And he came back and he told me, "Damn, man, I messed up. I got out the truck." And he told me what happened. I was like, "Damn, dude." We were kind of like frustrated that it wasn't because of driving. It was a procedure error. Okay, it's like a procedure error. Like he wasn't supposed to get out the truck, and he did, and then that's when he failed. So it wasn't because he was a bad driver. It's because he forgot to, he wasn't listening, and he didn't follow the rules of the DMV. Now he's going back Wednesday. So on Wednesday he goes back to test. This Wednesday coming up, he goes back, and I know he's not gonna mess up again. If you mess up again, that's it. You know, I pray he don't mess up. I told him, dude, just sit in the freaking truck and don't get out. Just wait until the examiner says, "Okay, get out the truck." And he tells you, "Stay in the truck until I go over there." I don't understand why he got. I guess he didn't follow. He didn't hear him, or he just felt like, "I'm gonna get out the truck." When he got out the truck, he failed. That was kind of crazy. I was like, "What?" But it happens. So I know he's gonna pass. So I know that's five guys that are gonna pass the course. So out of the 16, five passed. Two blues passed. I know that. We got two guys, blues, the ones in the back. So out of the 16, we got 17 passed. That's 16 people. I'm counting the blues, the ones who wear the blue vest. They're the ones who have their CDL already. They just taking the course to get the job, kind of like a job interview. So if you pass the exam of driving, you get the job. So you figure 17. That means nine people didn't make it out of 16. Nine people either failed, got thrown out, drugs, something happened that they didn't make it. Okay. Uh Matter of fact, it was seven, because I know two other guys. I forgot. There's a big. There was another guy who passed, and a guy who had long hair. I forgot about them. So it was seven, eight, nine. Nine people who passed out of 16. It was seven. Two. It was five, five, six, seven. It was seven yellow vests. That's the ones who are learning how to get your CDL, training to get your CDL driver's license, and two blues. The two blues are the ones that have their CDL already. So that's nine. Nine people passed out of 16. So that means seven did not. And we're waiting for one more. So we figured 10. That means six would not pass. And we're waiting for that last guy, which I know he's going to pass if he don't get out the truck. So hopefully it'll be 10 out of 16. The other people didn't pass. So, you figure out of 16 people, seven people are not going to pass for whatever reason. And I'll explain it as I go, since I have the videos every day. I talk about what's going on in the class. I'll talk about it then. I want to cut this video short. It's already a whole hour. But this is kind of like an introduction as to how the process of getting your CDL in the school and what's going on in the school. So this is like something so you could feel out. Hey, is that for me? Is it not for me? I hope it helps people make a decision. Then that's why I'm doing it. So that because on the internet, I really didn't find somebody to go day by day and explain the different situations, the paperwork, the the drug test. I mean, people talked about this school, but they really just like complain, complain, complain. That's all you get is complain, complain, complain. You know, they this and they that because they got thrown out. Usually, the people who got thrown out are the ones who are complaining. I didn't get thrown out. I got my CDL. So I'm going to explain the process day by day so that you can see like how it develops and what you have to do and dedicate yourself to get it. If I could get it, you could get it. Okay? Um I'm an old guy. I'm not no spring chicken. Um so if you're a young person, you could also get it. Dedicate yourself to study, close the noise from the other people telling you all this stuff. It's negative, it's this, it's that. Just put all that aside and dedicate yourself to driving. You will get your CDL. This school will push you and you will get it. If you follow their procedure and you hit it and you hit it and you hit it and you practice, that's all you're going to do. You will get your CDL. So this is just the first introduction to what I'm going to be sharing with you guys. It's 3 weeks, okay? So I have 3 weeks of video. This is the first introduction to these videos. I did a live stream earlier. I'm going to delete it because of the color. It was kind of dark. So I'm just going to put this one up as my introduction to this CDL training that I went through day by day. So I'm going to give you day by day. I'm going to actually give you what's on the test. I'm going to give you a cheat sheet. They have cheat sheets. I'm going to explain the process of getting the DMV and going and what they want from you. Like, what is it that you have to actually. So there's no surprise. Okay. This is what I'm going to do because I tried to find somebody out there who would actually go step by step. You know, hey, what is it that I have to do? Like, what is the training? What do the DMV requires? How do I go about getting? How's the schools? Does the school teach you? Do they teach you paper? Do they teach you computer? I'm going to explain step by step how this school trained me and I was able to get my CDL license. I am now a commercial driver license. I have a commercial driver license for tractor trailers, combination vehicle. Okay, so this is the first of many videos I'm gonna make. I am gonna share with you people mistakes that people make, things that you shouldn't do, uh, and stuff like that, so that you can judge for yourself. Hey, it sounds pretty good. This school sounds pretty good. I wanna try it. I want to dedicate myself. Even though they don't pay a lot or whatever, you're gonna feel out the different schools. I'm gonna tell you this school will get you that mission accomplished. Okay, that's all I gotta say. My mission is accomplished. I went there to get it, and I got it. So I'm gonna share with you guys what I went through step by step, so that you can see, wow, that sounds like I could do that also. Okay, this is just the introduction to these videos. This is the introduction to my CDL training.